Welcome back to That's Entertainment Law, where I break down the latest legal dramas, true crime mysteries, and courtroom spectacles. I'm Ethan Behrman, your trusty guide through the often wild and always fascinating world of law and order. I'm a licensed practicing attorney in the state of California. I'm an adjunct professor at Loyola Law School here in Los Angeles. Today I'm jumping into the gripping tale of the Karen Read trial, which recently ended in a hung jury, resulting in a mistrial. And stick around because I'm also putting the spotlight on the charismatic attorney Alan Jackson, who definitely has a connection to the entertainment world. Read was charged with second-degree murder, manslaughter while operating under the influence, and leaving the scene of personal injury and death for the death of her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, by hitting him with her car in Canton, Massachusetts on January 29th, 2022. She, of course, denies any involvement and claims he was killed at a house party with police and other law enforcement, where basically everybody was super drunk and wasted, and that was really crazy to hear coming up in this trial how bad they were. They were drinking and driving and getting really, really wasted. It was incredible to listen to during this long trial. If she had been convicted on the murder charge, she faced up to life in prison with the possibility of parole. Now, the trial began on April 16th of 2024 with jury selection. Testimony got underway on April 29th of this year. So over the course of nearly 2 months, prosecution called 68 witnesses to the stand, and the defense called another 6 people. This trial had all the makings of a legal thriller: compelling testimonies, unexpected twists, and the suspense of the jury's decision, but also a lot of very powerful litigation by Karen's team, and specifically Alan Jackson. Matter of fact, a lot of people watching the Karen Read trial could be heard saying that if they ever needed an attorney for something like this, they would want Alan Jackson to represent them. I'll get more into that in a little bit. But just when everyone was on the edge of their seats, we got the bombshell announcement: a hung jury. So if you're not familiar, a hung jury occurs when the jury can't come to a unanimous decision. In a criminal trial like this in Massachusetts, a unanimous jury is required. All 12 jurors had to agree guilty to convict Karen Read. And in this case, they weren't able to. This was a deadlock. The word is that there was actually a pretty even split on this. And if I were a betting man, I would guess it was the women were not guilty based on her reactions during Trooper Proctor's testimony. Their reactions were amazing. So a mistrial was declared. Let's take a listen to what happened when the jurors handed their note to the judge.
All right, Mr. Foreman, I am in receipt of your note. Judge Canoni, despite our rigorous efforts, we continue to find ourselves at an impasse. Our perspectives on the evidence are starkly divided. Some members of the jury firmly believe that the evidence surpasses the burden of proof, establishing the elements of the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Conversely, others find the evidence fails to meet this standard and does not sufficiently establish the necessary elements of the charges. The deep division is not due to a lack of effort or diligence, but rather a sincere adherence to our individual principles and moral convictions. To continue to deliberate would be futile and only serve to force us to compromise these deeply held beliefs. I'm not going to do that to you folks. Your service is complete. I'm declaring a mistrial in this case. I'll be in to see you privately in a few minutes. So thank you so much for your service. Okay.
Now, this isn't the end of the road for Karen Read. A mistrial just means, hey, we couldn't come up with an answer, so the prosecution has a right to retry the case, and they've already announced that they will. So the legal battles will continue. It's like we're all stuck in the middle of a binge-worthy courtroom series, and the season finale has left us with a cliffhanger telling us to watch next season. That's where this Karen Read trial stands. So one more thing. Trooper Proctor that I was just saying about, who gave some horrific testimony. The governor of Massachusetts even had a very negative statement to make about him. And he was a key prosecution witness who Alan Jackson absolutely destroyed on cross-examination. As of today, July 2nd, 2024, just lost his job as a Massachusetts state trooper after we found out the horrible things he said and did during this trial. So speaking of cliffhangers, let's take a moment to shine a spotlight on one of the key players in this legal drama, attorney Alan Jackson. Now, if you haven't heard of him, let me introduce you to one of the legal world's rock stars. This episode of That's Entertainment Law is brought to you by the Behrman Firm. Do you have a case that's related to the state of California? Is it a contract dispute? Are you upset with a business partner? Are you in the entertainment business? Give us a call now for a free consultation, 747-BEHRMAN, 747-232-7626, or visit our website at thebehrmanfirm.com. Alan Jackson isn't just any attorney. He's got the flair. He's got the charisma. He's got the courtroom prowess that makes him a standout figure. Look, picture this. If lawyers were superheroes, Alan Jackson would be the guy with the perfectly tailored suit, a briefcase full of legal tricks, and a reputation for turning the tide in the most challenging cases. Look, Jackson's career is a tapestry of high-profile cases and jaw-dropping victories. He's the kind of attorney who walks into a courtroom with an air of confidence that says, I've got this, and more often than not, he really does. What's fascinating about Alan Jackson isn't just his ability to connect with the jury, but let's talk about that for a second. He doesn't just present evidence, he tells the story. That's so important for litigation attorneys. He tells the story that the jury can connect with. He has an uncanny knack for taking legal complex jargon, really, and turning it into something that the jury can understand. It's a riveting narrative. It's like watching a maestro conducting an orchestra. Every argument, every piece of evidence is a note in his symphony. So if you're wondering what's the secret behind Alan Jackson's courtroom magic, well, it's this simple. It's a mix of meticulous preparation, razor-sharp intellect, and a dash of showmanship. He knows when to be serious. He knows when to inject a bit of humor. He knows how to keep everyone on the edge of their seats. I've even heard him called a jury whisperer. There's jury consultants, and then there's Alan Jackson. Seriously. Let's also not forget his ability to handle pressure. Imagine being in the spotlight in a case like this day after day with cameras flashing, the weight of the high-profile case resting on your shoulders. For Alan Jackson, it's just another day at the office. Look, I also have to share with you right now. I know Alan Jackson. We're not close personal friends, but I know him. He is everything of what I just described. And when he was an assistant district attorney here in Los Angeles, before going into private practice, I understand that he had something like a 98% conviction rate when he was a prosecutor. That's wild. That's how good he is. So as we wait to see what happens next in the Karen Reed saga, let's take a moment to appreciate the legal virtuoso that is Alan Jackson. Whether he's defending a client, prosecuting a case, he brings that unique blend of expertise and flair that makes the courtroom a stage, and we, the captivated audience. Look, once I found out my buddy Alan Jackson, buddy is overstating it. I know Alan Jackson. But my gosh, once I found out he was representing Karen Reed, I had to start watching this trial. And I'm telling you, I know this guy. I've seen him in action. It is captivating, even for me, who goes to trial, who goes to court all the time. State court here in California, federal court, I was just in federal court yesterday. Wow, this guy is that good. So that's all for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to That's Entertainment Law. And make sure to subscribe, leave a review, stay tuned for more updates on the Karen Reed trial and other legal stories that keep us all hooked. Until next time, share this, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep enjoying the legal roller coaster ride. I'm Ethan Behrman. Disclaimer, That's Entertainment Law, including its guests and hosts, are not giving out legal advice, but discussing general legal issues. That's Entertainment Law does not guarantee that the legal issues discussed are fully accurate, and it's not specific to whatever legal issues you may be experiencing. None of this advice is to be acted upon in your situation. Please seek legal advice from a licensed attorney in your jurisdiction for your individual legal matter.